As you'd be aware, a lot of SMEs have been badly affected by the economic downturn caused by COVID-19. But there is some good news, and it's in the form of a 20 million kina scheme to provide grant money to PNG and Pacific SMEs to help them adapt and recover. So who can apply and how much money can you get? Joining me to talk about the fund is Steve Knapp, the Programme Director at Business Link Pacific. How much are these grants for and who can apply for them?
Right, well, Business Link Pacific that manages the grants. We're a New Zealand government initiative that's delivered by DT Global. And the small grants come under a new initiative, which is the SME finance facility. And what we're focused on is providing the business advisory services and also the finance that SMEs need in order to survive in the first instance, but looking forward to grow and expand and employ more people. So these grants are pitched at small businesses, small medium enterprises that have been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, and the grants are available of up to 12,000 kina for businesses with up to 5 employees, up to 24,000 kina for businesses with up to 20 employees, and then up to 50 employees, there's a grant size of 36,000 kina. And sorry, go on.
What's the purpose? What can they use this money for? Presumably it has to be used for specific purposes?
Yeah, it's available to businesses from across all sectors. We asked the businesses to present some of their financial information so that we can see that they were, profitable pre-COVID, that they've got a solid business foundation to build on. And then also we can see how the COVID-19 pandemic has affected the business. And we asked them to present what we call an adaptation plan or just a short basic business plan of how they would use the grant monies to support change in the business or support different initiatives within the business that will help them to survive the current pandemic. So, we've seen grant applications in the first round for a whole range of different business ideas. We've seen lots of businesses looking to take their business online, sell their goods and services online. So that's very topical with the previous presentation this morning. That whole digital transformation of business, I think, is going to be very important in PNG through the pandemic and going forward. But a whole range from businesses that have focusing on takeaway foods or restaurants changing the focus of their business. Retail businesses looking to provide business products that are import substitution or building up their stock levels because they've run them down because of the pandemic. But one of the really interesting areas that we've been working with is with access to finance and businesses applying for a grant, which they then use as equity to access a loan. So, working very closely with the government concessional loan scheme and also, this week, Kinabank launching a new SME loan product as well, where it is a new product specifically for the SME market.
Just to be clear, your particular scheme, that this money is grants, so you weren't expecting them to be repaid. That's correct, isn't it?
No, that's right. The grants are a grant. There's no repayment there, but what some businesses have got a larger plan that they want to put in place that costs more than just that grant amount. So what we work with them to do is use the grant money as equity to then access a bank loan. And another part of the grants is that we provide wraparound business advisory support that goes with that grant money. So, rather than just giving the business a grant and letting them, then work out what they're going to do with it, we'll provide some business advisory support through local accounting firms and local business advisors that can help those businesses to really make sure that they use those grant funds in the most effective and efficient ways for the business.
The key date, I believe, is coming up very soon, the 27th of July. Is that correct?
Yeah, so this second round of grants closes for applications on the 27th of July. So if anybody's interested in applying, get all your business information together. Go to our website, which is businesslinkpacific.com, and you can go through there to the grant application process. If you've got limited internet access, then please contact your local Chamber of Commerce, and they'll help you with the grant application process.
Yeah. So it's worth pointing out that both the Port Moresby and the Leigh Chamber of Commerce are aware of this scheme and are available to people to help. Is that right?
They are, yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. What sort of follow-up is done after the grant to make sure that money is spent correctly?
Well, the grant, the businesses apply for a grant. We assess those applications, and then we link them up with a local business advisory service provider. So a local firm will then help them to get their adaptation plan in place, verify some of the financial information they've given us. If their accounts are out of date, they'll help them get their information up to date. And then once the grant's paid, that business advisory support can continue. We ask for receipts and evidence of how the grant's been paid after it's been paid out, just to make sure that the business has used it in the way that they pitched it in the application.
What sort of things have you learned in running the program about how SMEs are affected by the current circumstances, and how innovative they're being to get out of the circumstances they find themselves in?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty bad across the Pacific at the moment. I mean, we work across 8 Pacific Island countries, including PNG. I mean, particularly markets where businesses are so dependent on the tourism industry, and the lack of travel has really devastated some businesses in that way. But across the board, we've seen pretty bad reports from the SME sector. There's a lot of support needed to make sure that small businesses survive this pandemic. But I think on the positive side, what's really come across is how resilient businesses in the Pacific are, and how entrepreneurial business owners are. We've had some really great ideas coming through as to how they can use grant monies to reinvigorate parts of the business or move into new business ventures. But I think one of the important things that we've been looking at is there's different aspects to it. So the business advisory services is a really important aspect. Then the access to finance, whether that's through grants or concessional loans, or that finance that businesses need in order to survive. And then the third part is that enabling business environment. And we've been working very closely with small business, the SME corporation, around that business enabling environment for SMEs as well.
Excellent. Stephen, we're going to have to leave it there, but thank you so much for coming on and telling us about the scheme. Perhaps you could just remind people again where they can go to find out more information about how to apply.
Yeah, so please head to our website, which is www.businesslinkpacific.com, or your local Chamber of Commerce, POM Chamber of Commerce, Leigh Chamber of Commerce, or contact us direct through the website if you need some additional support.
Excellent. And 27th of July, that's the big date. So good luck with your applications. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Steve.